Now, for a moment of celebrity capture. Peace be with you. Ant Month, week 2 is here. Are you enjoying December? I am, but I have a special surprise. I'm about to, embark on an adventure. So I'm really excited, but I can't tell you about it yet because it's a secret. Right? We'll just talk about that some other time. Right now, this Ant Month week 2, I have a special celebrity surprise. I'm going to set up this whole thing. I think I might even talk about this earlier on this year. It's been a long year, right? Man, it's been a long year. I was at the flea market. I always tell these stories. Sometimes I'm in the middle of telling stories and I realize, wait a minute, those details are wrong. But anyway, this is my story. I'm going to stick to it, right? So, flea market. It was windy. It's cold. It was actually snowing a little bit, right? And I seen these two guys that smoke a little bit of weed inside this big truck. Older guys, much older than me, like 20 years older than me, maybe 30 years older than me. Who knows? I can't tell the age of anybody anymore. You know what I'm saying? And they had some musical gear, various weird little things, like a couple like amplifiers and stands and like drum parts, all kinds of just gear, mixers and lights, like a fog machine, all kinds of just stuff. Yeah. And I was like, this might be interesting. I picked up this beautiful Electro-Harmonix speaker that was falling apart, this little amplifier. Definitely looked like early 70s. I was like, I think I paid $25 for it or $30 for it. I think he wanted 40, and I either offered him 25 or $30 for it, something like that. And when I was buying it from him, he's like, that belonged to Ritchie Blackmore. Whatever, dude. You know what I mean? Your mother belonged to Ritchie Blackmore, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm serious. I was a roadie. Dean in there, he's too stoned to come out of the cab, but he tell you all kinds of stories. We've been roadies forever. He's the storyteller. He's like, that belonged to Ritchie Blackmore when he was in Rainbow with Ronnie James Dio. They used to use it to play on the bus. You hook it up to a battery. And he showed me the bag. He's like, I was a roadie. Blah, 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 blah. I said, really? And all of a sudden, he was so convinced about it. And his stone friend in the truck just like, you know what I mean? I was like, what is this? But then I looked at all the gear. And I saw a lot of this gear had names of actual band, like Striper and stuff, written on the back of the gear. Some of it was painted off, and some of it, you know what I mean, was all beat up and old. I was like, maybe this guy's telling the truth. Then I looked around even more. I was like, this guy's definitely got a lot of gear. And I was like, do you play? He's like, nah, I just got it in my garage. You know what I mean? And my mom kicked me out. Your mom's kicking? Yeah, she must be 1,000 years old. Anyway, moral of the story was I looked at this lamp closer. And I seen it had little stencils on it, property of Rainbow. And I was like, ooh. You know what I mean? This motherfucker's not lying. And then I went home and I was spending 2 hours on my phone. And I was looking and looking and looking. And I found a picture of Dio and Blackmore and everything, backstage drinking beers, rehearsing. And there was the same exact stencil on some other gear. I was like, this is fucking real. Holy shit. And then I was talking to my man Johnny Rock a couple weeks ago, and he's real excited about it, and I sent him a picture. He's like, I was like, I know another guy that knows this guy. He says, it's definitely real. He knows it too. I was like, oh. Wow, Johnny Rock knows the guy too. It's this is incredible. So, I don't know if I'm going to get it to work. I don't even know if it works. I don't even know anything about it. I want to show it to you, though. I want you to see it. Because that's what I'm a sharing kind of guy, and it's the holidays coming up. I got all kinds of things in my mind. Things in my heart, and I just want to unburden myself with you. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? I can dig it. So I'm going to show it to you. Hopefully get it cranked up. Maybe I won't. But we're going to do it all together. What? Well, here it is, people. And right off the back, you can see it said Rainbow at one point very clearly here. And on the side, You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be able to spell that good to understand what that says. So it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? The Mike Matthews Freedom amp has this old, you remember these label makers? Volume, tone, I don't know. Definitely an early one. Like most of these, it has the original back unscrewed, right? And it's got the long extension cable coming out here, which I saw some of them were actually screwed in with a socket. I don't know, that might have been some kind of alteration, but a lot of them have a cable just like this. So I don't know what's original. It's got the original Electro-Harmonix solder signature there. Everything looks to be intact. I mean, I don't. One thing they did about these solid state amps that was a solid was they did them very solidly. They used good components, things that would last more than, you know what I mean, 50 years kind of stuff. But there's some damage to this instrument, to this piece of equipment, I should say. You know what I mean? That's ugly. You know what I'm saying? I like to fix it somehow. This is getting all chewed out. Every time I, you know what I mean, pick it up, move it around, it gets a little bit less. You know what I mean? Here's a piece of Ritchie Blackmore's fucking particle board, bro. You know, everywhere, you know, all over. It looks like it's seen a little bit of water damage, possibly. At the bottom there. Hey, man, Dean and I, we were driving up to Cincinnati one time, man. And we got like a whole bottle of lemons, man. We met this girls at this hotel, and I think a couple of them might have died, bro. But, I mean, that's just, you know what I mean, things that happen on the road, man. Don't you tell him that, bro? Shut up, Dean. I mean, this guy's cool, man. He's buying equipment from us at a flea market. How untrustworthy can you be? Now, the Freedom amp, I believe, came like a dirt road, I believe, so they renamed it in the late 70s. But these are the more sought after ones, you know, the original ones. Supposedly you could power it with a D battery. I don't think I would want to try that. It's got one of those silicone speakers, very loud amp from what I understand. I mean, looking at it, it looks pretty much like it's ready to go, man. I could just hook this up. You know what I mean? This is going to be a negative, a positive, and a ground. Looks like to me. I mean, I saw another guy on the internet. He basically ran a line from here and a line from here and just put a two-prong plug right into the wall. You know what I'm saying? 120 fucking regular power, man. And he just started jamming the fuck out of his little Freedom amp. I don't know if that's what I'm going to do or not. I'm going to have to think about it first. I don't even know if I want to even try to power it up because this might be a valuable amp. But I certainly want to stabilize the back a little bit because I am sort of semi-professional at stabilizing things. So we'll bring this into the laboratory and we'll just get that cleaned up, fixed up a little bit. So, you know what I mean, it doesn't continue to degrade because the loose fabric is actually on the rainbow side of the amp where it's been stenciled, which sort of is part of the provenance in itself. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the provenance, man, provincial. So I'll see you in the laboratory, and we'll give this guy a little bit of a TLC, and we'll think about if we want to try to plug him in or not. Although I think we'll be able to do it without crying, but I don't want the amp to be dying. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to preserve Ritchie Blackmore's legacy before he's even legacyable, right? Legacine, you know what I'm saying? I don't want you to sue me, Richie, because, you know, I'm sure there's a statute of limitation, man. Hey, man, Dean says that, you know, you owe him like 3 bottles of Ludes, bro. See you in the laboratory. Welcome back to the laboratory. Hush, hush. Just squeal like a rat. I hit you with a bat. Hush, hush. Yes, man. This is some serious degradation. Some of it's just falling right off. We got a little bit of a pile over there. So what we're going to want to do before we like start the healing process. You got this is totally, you know what I mean, apart. This one's starting to grow apart. You know what I mean? There's divorce in the family of, you know what I mean, phony fucking particle board. Let's try to dump some of these, you know, loose particles in the trash can. Come back here when we're all clean. And this big old wire looks like it's like, you know what I mean, factory wired into here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like somebody professional did it. You know what I mean? Somebody who might be roadieing for Deep Purple and fucking Rainbow at the same time, like this gentleman told me he was doing. 1974, man, they reunited Deep Purple, man. And we were right in the middle of Rainbow, so we were touring both at the same time, man. You believe that? You know what that made Dio feel like, man? This guy was all kinds of rock and roll jive, man. All kinds of stories. Let's dump this off and let's see what we can do. So gonna be about as best as we can do. You know what I mean? We've gone through so many pieces of tape and just trying to suck it out and dump it out. You know, the more we touch it, the worse it gets. So I mean, generally, what we would do on an amplifier like this, that we wanted to somehow, you know what I'm saying, reinvent. We would get another piece of old '80s stock fiber board, you know. There's plenty of this around, you know. Look in any garage from a house that was built after 1981, you'll find a piece of it somewhere. But in this case, since it's a celebrity guitar, man, this is like we want to try to preserve as much of this as we can. So we're going to take some glue, right? We're just going to pretty much stick a, you know what I mean, paintbrush in there and just glue, you know what I mean, this guy up. Wet it down a little tiny bit, not too much water, just along the bottom here. We're just trying to stabilize it. I mean, it's falling apart very, very easily, very quickly. You know, you just touch it and pieces will fall off. You know what I'm saying? Not like we're going to really be gigging this amp again, but we want to stabilize it, but we want to remember this is a historic amp. You know what I mean? I'll show you a couple pictures after we get her stabilized before we listen to her, you know, but I want to get it, you know what I mean? So we got the big cable out, you know, like I'm saying, man, very careful of that cable. Got it out of the guitar. Only thing we're working on right now is this piece right here. So let's do it, and then I'll come back to her. I'll come back to her then and get all clued up. Yeah, glue mania, man. Got that little piece of framing wood for the back, you know what I mean, cover. Clear of all the glue. You know what I mean? You don't want to water this glue down. Just the natural, you know what I mean? Using your wet hands and your wet fingers and the wet towel to clean off this little piece of framing wood is going to add a little bit of water to the mix. You don't want to add anything additional. Get all the weird chunky stuff that's sticking up off of the particle board, you know what I'm saying? Everywhere where the particle board was still smooth and finished, you know what I mean? You just left it alone. Everywhere where it was all ripped up, we put a whole bunch of glue in there, just shitload. So let's let this dry, man. You know, we have the back cover completely free from the glue. Clean, the way it should be. Use a big brush to apply that glue. You know what I'm saying? Close the bottle up when you're done. All the stupid stuff is the same, man. So let's let it dry, and I'll see you after that point. Sometimes I'll say after that pernt. It's still a little bit later. See you then. Yeah. I'll let it dry a little bit over a week. Now it's solid. No pieces are flaking off at all. You know what I mean? Before you just run your hand over it and like millions of pieces just fly off. And we're able to glue it and everything without getting any glue on the, you know what I mean, little piece of cover cloth, you know. That's a good thing, man. So we let it set for a week. It's nice and set now. It's not just dry. Because sometimes with wood glue, if you add moisture to it after it's sort of dry but not really set, it gets like, you know, when we mushy again. We wanted to make sure it was totally hard. And that's something that we've accomplished by waiting so long. Now, I thought long and hard about exactly how I want to go about the next step. You know, the correct way really would be to somehow get some glue into these sides here. You know what I mean? And all, you know, everything is pretty much loose. And down in here and over in here. But then I thought about this is kind of like possibly a historic amp that was owned by, you know what I mean, a pretty seminal figure in popular music. So I don't want to just, you know, and if that's the case, you know, do something that might compromise, you know what I mean, the graphics. And, you know, look, face it, I'm not going to take this thing cross country and, you know what I mean, pickup truck with 2 dogs and a shotgun, you know what I mean, playing at fucking bus stops for prostitutes, you know what I mean. I'm going to put this in a corner, you know, that has no, you know, moisture or sunlight or, you know, people touching it until, you know, I need a couple dollars and I'm going to put it up for auction. I'm just kidding about the auction part, right? Here's the provenance from the 2 stoners at the flea market. Anyway, so essentially what I want to do now is, as opposed to like try to glue this whole thing up and, you know what I mean, get adhesive in here, I just want to seal these flaps like flaps of an envelope. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick a paintbrush with thick bristle, sort of brush, bristles in there, and just get this guy coated, you know what I mean, with wood glue, and just flap them over. You know what I'm saying? Hold it down with some masking tape. I have all different kinds of masking tape here. You know what I mean? Same here, just around the edges, guys. Here, you know what I mean, up here, everywhere where it's loose, just in the back here, just to hold it in place. I don't want to get any adhesive really on the sides. It's going to sort of pull it as tight as Joan Rivers' skin toward the end. You know what I mean? Get it a little tighter. It's Rivers. Clear. Clear. Her skin's exploding. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. We're going to take this guy up. And I'll see you at that point. You know what I'm saying? Glued and taped. And you know what I mean? All that good stuff. So see you in a moment. Alright. So I got it all glued and taped. And in this case, the bottom here, I actually took a piece of wood, and I clamped it along that frame just to keep these things down at right in the corner. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna try to keep that, you know what I mean, totally copacetic. This side wasn't that bad to begin with, you know what I mean, but we got everything thoroughly glued. The best tape was this tape and this tape. This tape was not very good, and I didn't even bother with that one because the roll's almost done. That's real good stuff. That's like Scotch, I think. I only use that for, like, you know what I mean, like, break glass in case of emergency kind of situation. So let's let this dry for 2 or 3 days, 4 days. We got all the time in the world, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a pause, man. Because on YouTube, a pause can mean just 2 or 3 seconds, right? So in 2 or 3 days, I'll come right back at you. But for you, it'll be simple as 1, 2. All right, so it's been a couple days. It's definitely dry now. You don't want to leave this tape on too long because it gets like ultra sticky. Sometimes it becomes harder to get it off. So let's take all this stuff out, man, and see how it came out. Oh, I'll have to do it slowly, but I can do it real fast for you. 1, 2. All right. I think we did a good job. You know what I mean? I'm pretty satisfied. You know what I mean? We could have probably used Bondo, you know what I mean, to build this back up. But then again, you know what I mean, if this was like a you know what I mean, everyday amp, we could replace this whole piece of wood. This is a celebrity amp, man. This was touched by Dio. The late great. So here we are, man, toward the end. See these guys here? Well, right next to my big collection of masking tape that's been utilized, I got this can of CRC electronical cleaner. Right? I'm going to stick that little needle nose funnel red straw into these guys while we wobble these pots up and back, up and back, up and back. Everything else looks pretty nice. This is a pretty clean example, actually. And then we're gonna bring it out to the learn laboratory because I want to show you something, Sonny. Because I told you I did some research. Because I'm a researcher. See you in a second, silly. So I'm gonna try to put all you haters to rest right now, man, and show you that maybe these 2 hippies weren't lying. I would make you into believers. Ritchie Blackmore, backstage 1974. Now, I noticed that all of his equipment, I found these pictures, everything has that stencil stamp on it, man. You know what I'm saying? I guess he got ripped off early in his career, and he decided, like, I'm going to put this on everything, right? There's another picture. Again, you know what I mean? Same scene. Now, you know what I mean? This is cool and everything. Okay, he's got a stencil stamp. How do you have proof? Well, I found a picture from late 1973 backstage. Ritchie Blackmore playing the amp. And there it is right there. That's the R amplifier. You don't want to know why I know it's R amplifier for sure? Look at this little dot here. You see that little dot? There it is right there. It's still there. It's still there. And when you photograph this amplifier, that comes up on every photograph real quick. And you see this? You can tell that there was like a piece of tape here or something like that too at one point. And there's the tape right there. You see that? Do you see it? Do you see it, people? We got this and we got this, man. And it's definitely that amplifier. It's a very rare amp. You know what I mean? It's an extremely rare amp. Right in where it says guitar. Here's both the jacks. Guitar. Bang. Right? And that's it, man. That's it. That's the amplifier, man. That's what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's the fucking... That's the McDonald's in the middle of the desert, man. You know what I'm saying? The oasis. Here's a photograph of Ritchie Blackmore, late 1973, playing this exact amplifier. I don't know any other, you know what I mean, way to bonify myself in this case, man. But if you want me to further bonify myself, here's a picture of Dio and Blackmore, and there it is right there. You see that big jumble of cable right there? Do you see that big jumble of cable right there? Do you see that big jumble of cable right there? Do you see that? Do you see Dio? Do you see Blackmore? Do you see our amplifier? Yes, you do. Right? Yes, you do, people. And very proudly I can say that amplifier, let me turn this light on. It's right here. Right in front of us, man. So I'm going to put this back on, right? And I'm going to get this thing all fired up. And we're going to listen to it, man. We're just going to go, you know what I mean, ground. And you know what I'm saying? One guy, right? We know how to do that, man. Easy peasy. Let's hope it works. Let's hope it doesn't blow up. You know what I'm saying? I'll see you in a second. Let's get it all set up. All right, everybody. Here we are. It's a great moment. Now, I do want to warn you, I have, you know, hooked it up to a power source. I did try everything. I checked it out. I know it works. Otherwise, you know what I mean? We'd be back in the laboratory right now. So, I know I usually use the LTD for these amp month, you know, demonstrations I have the past couple of years, and I'll bust it out at the end of the episode, I promise you. For this episode, because of my dear, you know, mentor, Mr. Ritchie Blackmore, I'm going to use a beautiful Stratocaster. What better Stratocaster is a parts caster I made way back in episode, I don't know, what was that, 5, 4, something like that. I will certainly put the link below if you want to check it out. The great Johnny Rock, who was a huge fan of Blackmore, Rainbow, Dio, all those bands, you know what I mean? He was actually helpful in identifying this amplifier with his connections. I was so blessed to be in a band with him, Scotty, and the late great Dougie Fresh called Poseidon. I played bass for that band for several years, you know, and it was a wonderful experience. Johnny Rock was one of the greatest singers of all time. And then he was a huge fan of Ritchie Blackmore, so, you know, it's perfect, you know what I mean, karma to sort of get this whole thing going. Now, the provenance of this, man, I mean, I think it's impeccable. These two guys, they basically, you know, had no reason to make up a story like this. Who would, you know what I mean? There's no way these guys were capable, having witnessed them, making up a tale like this. You know, they roadied for Blackmore for Deep Purple and for Rainbow, several different, you know, East Coast American tours, you know, in the 1970s, he said. And there was a static trailer that sat somewhere for a month, 2 months, a couple of weeks, I don't know. Took on 2 inches of water during a storm. Most of the gear inside of it was destroyed. And they were told to clean it out. They could take whatever they wanted to keep, but clean it the fuck out. That's what they were told, man. You know, there's no reason to lie about it, right? There's no reason at all to lie about it. So anyway, essentially, these guys held on to it. It definitely had some old school, you know, it wasn't recent water damage. That shit was just flaking off. Sat somewhere nice. You know what I mean? Nice, comfortable for, I don't know, 50 years, right? And here it is. You know what I mean? It's back in action. Incredible. These have incredible circuitry and components in them. You know, they survive. Even though it was water totally sat at the bottom there, we're still in business as far as, you know, all the electronics and everything right up north. So it's great, man. I'm blessed to have, bestowed upon the luck from these two aging hippies, bro. I feel like blessed. So let's get it on, man. Let's turn it on. I got all the knobs at at zero. We got nothing happening, nothing cooking. I got the input into the guitar jack. So we're going to turn it on. Jack, you ready? Set and go. Let's turn the volume up. There we go. Beautiful. Now let's get the toner. Hey man, I got some toner, bro. My toner, bro. Put him about noonish. Very nice, very nice. So, what's this last one say? Can't even read it, man. Bite. Let's put bite. Bite me at noon, man. 1 o'clock. Let's put him at 1 o'clock, right? Sounds really good at 1 o'clock. Sweet. The great Ritchie Blackmore. So, having talked about Poseidon, my brothers, Scotty, Johnny Rock, who I've been in touch with lately, make me think a lot about my beautiful friend, Mr. Dougie Fresh, Doug Grace. Now, this is, Ant Month, I always think about Dougie Fresh because on this Friday, will mark the 5th anniversary of Dougie's passing, man. And it's very rough thinking about him on the holidays because he was a great person, man. He was a great human being. He was a giving soul, man. He was my amplifier whiz. He could fix any amplifier. He made his own electronic boards. He would help you repair anything, any kind of component. He spent any kind of time with you working on electronics. I'm at a personal loss as a friend, and I have a whole bunch of amps that I would never be able to feature on the show that I've acquired because, only Dougie could repair them in my heart. Dougie, man, I miss you, man. So, and for the love of Dougie, man, I went through a couple old cell phones of mine trying to find some cool recordings from Poseidon. I found with my man Ritchie Blackmore in mind because we always used to play Smoke on the Water. I think we played Hush too with Poseidon. And Johnny Rock was one of the greatest singers of all time, man. He was an incredible singer. It was me on the bass, Johnny Rock on the lead guitar and the vocals, Dougie Fresh on the secondary guitar, and Scotty on the drums, man. I have this recording from, I guess it was 2017, 2018, I think, of us somewhere rehearsing Deep Purple song, Smoke on the Water. And I also have a little clip shortly before Dougie died, just clowning around and Dougie singing a couple bars of Smoke on the Water, and we ran through a couple of silly little songs. I want to show that to you guys. I want you guys to see it, man. You know what I mean? Appreciate the life of Dougie Fresh, cut down way too soon. He died. I'm 47 this year. He died at 47. It's kind of weird, man. It feels weird. You know what I mean? It's just a strange sort of thing that's missing somewhere. It's like missing like a limb or something like that. I miss you, Dougie Fresh. This is for you, my man. Peace be with you all. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. 1, 2, 4 times. That's right.
Awesome.
I know you like that.
That's great.
You like that?
Where'd you learn how to play?
Hey man, is that a Freedom amp? We'll turn it up.
Hey man, Michael Matthews, peace be with you. He's everywhere on the internet. Anybody that wants to interview Michael Matthews obviously can interview him because there's so many interviews with him. If you're interested in hearing interviews from Michael Matthews, they're not very hard to come by. Peace be with you. I hope that your Yuletide season is bright so far. I'm about to embark on a very, very cool journey, man. We're going to go together. So, we've already heard it. We've seen it. We've glued it up. We've experienced a lot together, and that makes us closer. We're like brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? God bless you all. Well, way up north where the air gets cold, there's a story about Christmas that you've all been told. There's a real famous cat all dressed up in red, and he spends all the year working out on his sled. He's a little Saint. He's a little Saint. Road Brian and Mike, hey man, don't make fun of Mike, man. God bless you, Mike Love, wherever you are, bro. Just for being Mike Love, man. Peace be with you. Don't unsubscribe, please. I worked so hard this year to be your friend. I went to counseling like you asked. Merry Christmas. Peace be with you. I'll see you soon, man, on our journey together. That's the Mike Matthews Freedom amp. I'm going to unplug it, put it away, and you'll see it on a special heritage auction soon after Ritchie Blackmore drops the lawsuit. Statute of limitations, bitch.